our game of the week is obviously a huge matchup in the Big Ten, and that is USC versus Oregon. Two programs. Oregon, one is right now in contention for the college football playoff. They need a little bit of help to get in contention for the Big Ten championship game, because right now they're actually sitting below USC, who is sitting right now outside the bubble in the college football playoff, but they are third in the Big Ten. They are both 6-1. So a win for either of these teams will obviously knock the loser out of contention for the Big Ten championship, but a win for USC would also rocket them into at-large contention for the college football playoff. So we've got two really talented squads going up in this one here. It's going to be in Eugene at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. Cole, how do you feel like this one's going to go down?
Oh, man, I don't know. It's going to be a tight game, I think. You got on one side USC. I mean, both sides, really. Two great offenses. Oregon's been kind of up and down, all year. But you take a look at the USC Trojans. They're the 6th-ranked offense in the entire country. Lincoln Riley has done a good job and has, really gotten them going this year. Jordan Mailata under center has been great. Mekhi Lemon, their star receiver, he's a problem. Oregon's been pretty good in pass coverage. They've struggled more with the run this year defensively, but USC is capable of hitting those big home run plays, and I think they're going to be an issue for Oregon this week. You look at Oregon and some of the games they played this year. Tight game against Penn State earlier in the year where it went into overtime. That Iowa game, they weren't able to put up many points, and that was a close one. Those were both away games for them, though, so they do have the advantage of being at home, and their only home loss this year was to Indiana. So I think it's going to be an exciting one, but I'd say don't count out USC. My pick for the week, I'm taking USC on the spread, plus 9.5. I do think Oregon squeaks it out, but I expect this one to be an exciting one that comes down to the wire. I think it's going to be a lot of fireworks, and it's going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, Jake, who's going to be the difference maker in this one?
Oh, man. I'll answer that question first, and I think Dante Moore is just getting caught at if you're USC, I think they're so talented, and I'll get into them in a sec. But Dante Moore, they're catching him after one of his best games, right? He's heating up at the right time with career best 306. Oregon single game record 90% completion too. So he's just been so efficient, right? So it's a tall order right now for USC to come in there and wreak havoc against a guy that I think would be the first to tell you he's playing the best football he's ever played. Now that all said, I'm reading an article right now about if USC will rediscover its Sam Darnold magic. And that was the last time College Game Day went, or not even went to USC, that USC football was featured, right? It was 2016, and I don't remember this game, honestly. But Sam Darnold engineered a great 26-13 win over Washington, who was number 4. That was in Seattle. It was on the road, right? Shades of this a little bit, right? You're going to the Pac Northwest. You're probably the underdog by most accounts here. Yeah, it's a super trendy pick to pick USC. I don't know. For me, this comes down to Oregon. It just comes down to their passing game being back on the rails for me, right? Like I look at Dante Moore and I think this is a terrible time to catch him. So that's why I have -9 for Oregon. I do think, I don't disagree that this could be one of those games that's really close almost all game. And then, Oregon finds a way to dig deep in the fourth quarter, second half, as they've done for most of this year. So that's where my heart tells me to go on this one.
I do think you make a good point too, Jake, because if Oregon loses this game, I think they're out of the college football playoff.
It could be.
Wow. Could you elaborate on that? I mean, their only other loss would be to the second best team in the country.
Yeah, but you got to look at all the other teams, right, that are in the Big Ten. So Ohio State at number 1, Indiana at number 2, right? They're locks pretty much, right? No matter what happens for the rest of the year, they're getting in. If Oregon loses to USC then could potentially in some way, they could get to the Big Ten championship, right? And if that happens, you'd have to get help from Michigan. But if USC beats Oregon on the road and then somehow ends up their way into the Big Ten championship and just wins out for the rest of the year, like USC's getting in the playoff. You can't deny them at that point. And then there's that whole other topic, right? In order for that to happen, USC to get into the Big Ten championship, you got Michigan and Ohio State in the game at the end of the year. Michigan would have to win that game, right? And if Michigan beats Ohio State, they have an argument as well. I mean, they only have 2 losses, and they would have been the number 1 undisputed all year, number 1 team in the entire country, right? And then you have a conversation, do we put in 4 teams from the Big Ten? Do you put in USC and Michigan in addition to Indiana and Ohio State?
Yeah.
It gets a little tricky there. And then I think if you have those 4 teams in that scenario, I think Oregon is the odd man out.
Love that.
I mean, a lot has to happen for that to come to fruition, but I think it is possible.
Yeah, and I just think the SEC is too good right now for a 4-team Big Ten, unfortunately. I think we're pretty close to getting
Well, I think it depends what happens. I mean, if Bama loses to Auburn in the Iron Bowl, then maybe not, right? But if they take care of business, then yeah, the SEC's going to have probably 5 teams in. You're looking at Georgia, Ole Miss, A&M, Bama, and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it depends what happens in these other conferences as well with the Big Ten. I would say right now, heading into this week, USC and Michigan, in my opinion, they're still in contention.
Love it. For the record, I've got USC plus 9.5 versus Oregon. I wanted to double up and take Oregon money line. So I guess I can flirt with that. I don't have that on my card, but I'm feeling it. And Tondo is feeling USC plus 9.5 versus Oregon, and he also put Oregon explicitly money line on his card. So that's our game of the week. Huge implications for the Big Ten, huge implications for the playoff. USC becoming the perfect late season spoiler in the national picture and in the Big Ten. So, guys, as we wrap up, any more games on this Week 13 slate that you feel like are worth checking out?